When we think about the all-time greats in sports, our minds usually jump to the highlight reels, right? The explosive moments, the crazy stats. But today, we're diving into a different kind of story. This is about quiet resilience, about a career that almost flatlined before it even got going, and about the man who clawed his way back to become the most successful fast bowler in history. This is the Jimmy Anderson story. And this quote, it just nails it. Anderson's career was never about those intimidating glares or trying to bowl at 100 miles an hour. Nope, it was about pure craft, about being smarter than the other guy, and about this incredible, almost hidden toughness that let him get back up time and time again. I mean, it all started like something out of a movie. Just picture it. You're 20 years old and you're making your debut at Lord's, the home of cricket. The pressure is insane. And what do? You go out and take 5 wickets. Just like that, you're the next big thing.
But professional sport isn't a fairy tale. And just a couple of years later, that same golden boy was dealing with what looked like a career-ending injury. The media, they were already writing him off as just another fast bowler who burned bright and faded away.
So, how do you go from being the next big thing to being basically written off, to becoming one of the greatest ever? Well, that's the real story we're getting into. It's all about the struggle, the doubt, and the incredible reinvention that forged a true legend. So, let's rewind all the way back to the beginning. This story doesn't start in some fancy sports academy. It starts in Burnley, a pretty quiet working-class town up in the north of England. This is where a shy, thoughtful kid started to figure things out. And what's so interesting is that Anderson was never the biggest kid or the loudest. He got noticed for one thing and one thing only: raw talent. Scouts just saw this unbelievably smooth bowling action and a ball that seemed to have a life of its own. It was just pure, natural ability. And that natural ability led straight to this: 5 wickets for 73 runs on his Test debut in 2003. This number instantly put him on the map. England's golden boy had arrived. The future was here. But as any fast bowler will tell you, what they do is, well, it's brutal on the body. And pretty soon, that perfect dream started to fray, as the harsh realities of the sport really began to set in. Just look at how fast things went sideways. He goes from being this debut sensation to being dropped, then brought back, with coaches messing with his bowling action. And then, in 2006, the hammer falls. A stress fracture in his back. For a fast bowler, that's pretty much a death sentence. And this was the headline. This was the verdict from the media. At just 24 years old, the story had totally flipped. He wasn't the future anymore. He was just another cautionary tale, a talent broken by the game. Okay, so this is it. This is the moment his story could have just ended, but it didn't. Instead, after a long, painful recovery, he made the single most important decision of his entire career. This was the real turning point. So get this. Here's the core of it. All the experts, the coaches, they wanted to fix him, rebuild his action into something more textbook. But Anderson, he made a really brave call. He decided to trust himself, to go back to that original whippy action that made him so special in the first place. 2 years after that devastating injury, he's back in the England team. But this wasn't just the old Jimmy Anderson back on his feet. Oh no, this was the debut of a new Jimmy Anderson, smarter, tougher, and totally in control of his craft. And the result? It was immediate, and it was devastating. He took his career best figures, ripping right through the New Zealand batting lineup. It was a massive statement. The golden boy was gone. In his place was a master swing bowler, ready to lead England's attack for the next 15 years. But here's the thing. That incredible comeback, that wasn't the finish line. That was just the starting line for his real legacy. This was the beginning of his climb from being a really good bowler to one of the greatest the world has ever seen. See, after he reinvented himself, he wasn't just a swing bowler anymore. He was a complete artist. He mastered reverse swing, he learned how to toil away on flat, lifeless pitches. He built one of the most lethal bowling partnerships in history with Stuart Broad. He was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. And then, the milestones just started piling up. First, he became the first English bowler ever to hit 400 Test wickets. That alone cemented his place in history. Then came 500. Okay, now he's entering that rarefied air. We're talking about a club that only a tiny handful of bowlers in the entire history of cricket have ever gotten into. 600. At this point, it's not just about skill. It's about mind-blowing longevity. It's about defying everything we know about the physical toll of fast bowling for almost 2 decades. And finally, he did what most people thought was literally impossible for a fast bowler. He crossed the 700 wicket mark. That number, right there, makes him without a doubt the most successful and durable pace bowler the game has ever seen.
But you see, as insane as those numbers are, they aren't the whole story, not even close. To really get what his legacy is all about, you have to look past the stats and see the journey that got him there. His whole career is just this series of quiet comebacks. He came back from that career-threatening injury. He came back from being dropped. He just kept coming back from all the little injuries that come with getting older, all while becoming a mentor and a leader to the younger guys. If you had to boil Jimmy Anderson's entire career down to just 2 words, it would be these: quiet resilience. It's a strength that's not built on shouting or trying to intimidate people. It's built on skill, on intelligence. It's the strength to just keep getting back up, again and again, even when no one's watching. So it kind of leaves you with this big question, doesn't it? I mean, maybe a true, lasting legacy isn't really about how brightly your talent shines right at the start. Maybe it's about having the guts and the resilience to go find that talent and reclaim it over and over again.